How are we doing, guys? Now, I've been asked several times to film on my channel how I cook mashed potatoes, so I thought it's about time I got it done. Now, my thoughts on mashed potato are simple, and that is keep it simple. It's too easy to overcomplicate them. There are some big do's and don'ts, and I'll share those with you as I cook. And as always with all my videos, there will be a full list of ingredients on the video description. Now let's talk potatoes, or spuds as we like to call them here in the UK. We're looking for a floury potato, not a waxy potato, so if you are in the UK, look for probably King Edward's or Piper's. Over in the States and other countries, if available, look for russets or Yukon Gold. Here I'm using about a kilo of potatoes, the equivalent in ounces and pounds will be up on the screen now, and this will serve between 4 to 6 people. Okay, what am I hanging about for? Let's cook. Okay, tip number 1 is get potatoes similar in size as best you can because they'll cook evenly. Tip number 2, I use a speed peeler. It's a little bit easier, you might prefer to use a knife. And tip number 3 is, if you can find someone else to peel these for you, do it. So unfortunately I'm home alone, so I'm left to peel. Now I'll repeat the same with the other 4 potatoes. Ta-da! They are done. Right, now let's put these in a large pot. Plonk, 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 plonk. Now you've noticed I've not cut these down, and over the years I've cooked potatoes down and they take on too much water, and I've found that if you leave them whole, they don't bog down and you get a much better mashed potato. To the water. Now go in with some cold water. Just enough to fill, and we're using cold water, not boiling water. And the reason being is the potatoes will cook on the outside before they do the inside. Yeah, parboiling you add to boiling water, but mashed potatoes, please do it from cold water, not parboiling, and that is my opinion, and I find that works better. On the hob. Really important now, guys. It's the first stage of seasoning, so just go in with some table salt, sea salt, whatever you want to do, and those potatoes will absorb that salt. Too late and it just bounces off. We'll put that on a high heat until it's up to the boil. Once these are between simmering and boiling, which is where we want them, they'll take longer than normal because the potatoes are whole, so they'll take about 30 minutes. Okay, next, while we wait for our spuds to come up to the boil, or potatoes, this is what's left in my butter dish. It's about 3 tablespoons. Doesn't have to be exact. So put them in a small pan. Put that in a small pan, and we'll just put that on a bit of heat and melt it down. We only need it on a low heat because we've got about 20-25 minutes for it to melt. But keep your eye on it. Once it's melted, take it off the heat. Okay, while we're waiting for our potatoes to steam dry, this is a potato ricer, and if you want perfect lump-free mash, I recommend you use one of these. They're not very much. I think this was about £5, so I highly recommend you invest in one. I mean, if you haven't got one, you can go to, I don't know, too much hard work for me, but the old traditional potato masher. My other tip is do not use a blender or a mixer or anything to make your mashed potato, because you'll overwork them and they'll go gloopy and yucky and horrible. So it's either a ricer or the old traditional masher. Okay, my potatoes have been cooking now for about 30 minutes. I'm going to use just a normal knife that you eat with, just to check. You're going to meet a little bit of resistance, not too much. I think they are now cooked, so we'll drain them in a colander. In they go. Now this bit is important as well. We're going to let these steam dry for about 3 minutes. Right, we are set to mash. These are just enough, cool enough to handle. That's one done. And when you don't cut your potatoes down, it's so much easier and so much quicker when it comes to ricing them. That's 2. Okay, now let's add our butter that we melted earlier. Milk, we'll add a splash, and we'll add little bits more as we look for our texture. Now let's add a little bit more seasoning. I'm not going to add, I normally use sea salt, but this is table salt because it could affect your texture if you use sea salt. A little bit of that. I don't use black pepper, I use white pepper. It's just not quite as harsh. But this is purely up to you. It just gives you a little bit more flavour. And now we'll work it. Just combine the salt, the pepper, the butter, the milk. Now this texture of this is just telling me that I'm going to need a little bit more milk. Of course, feel free to add more butter if you want. It depends how healthy you want to be. Just a wee bit more milk, just to loosen it up a little bit. Again, this is where you have to judge. Too much milk all in one go, you could ruin your mash bit by bit. You can put it in, but you can't take it out. This looks almost done. You could leave it in this bowl, cook ahead, and just quickly pop it in the microwave 1 minute, and it's reheated. Right, let's taste. Check for seasoning and taste. That is delicious, absolutely delicious. I've judged that, dare I say, almost perfect. It's lump free, it's seasoned well, it's good to go. Let's get it on a serving plate. Right, I have my mash in the serving bowl. I'm just going to garnish it with some thinly snipped chives, just to make it look a little bit more appealing. I made a nice little tower of this. I could literally eat a whole bowl of this on its own. It is that good. You could put it in a low oven now, about 100 degrees, and it will keep warm while you get the rest of your roast ready. Or like I said earlier, you could flash it in the microwave for a minute or two and just reheat it. So that is my fuss-free, easy mashed potato. Thanks so much for watching. It is much appreciated. What would you like to see me cook? Comment below. If you enjoyed the video, it really does help me each time you click that like button. And of course, I'd be absolutely made up if you consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you do, click the notification bell so you're notified each and every time I upload a new video. But for now, take care, keep safe, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ra.